Ω τάφο μου, ω νηφιατικό μου, ω αιώνια βαθιά στην γη σκαμμένη κατοικία μου. Για σένα τώρα ξεκινώ να πάω προς τους δικούς μου, που ένα πλήθος έχει δεχτεί από αυτούς η Περσεφόνη. Στερνή τους τώρα εγώ, και πολύ πιο άθλια πριν έρθει ακόμα η ώρα μου πηγαίνω.
There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise. There is no happiness where there is no wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise.
Sweeney! Dear sister! You think we had suffered enough for the curse on Oedipus? I cannot imagine any grief that you and I have not gone through, and now They told you the new decree for good King Creon.
I have heard nothing. I know that 2 sisters lost 2 brothers, a double death in a single hour, and I know that the Argive army fled in the night, but beyond this, nothing.
Thought so. But that is why I've asked you here. There's something we must do.
Why do you speak so strangely?
Listen, Ismene. Creon buried our brother Eteocles with military honours, gave him a soldier's funeral, and it was right that he should, but Polynices, he fought as bravely, and he died as miserably. They say that Creon has ordered that no one must bury him, that no one will mourn for him, but that his body must lie in the fields, a sweet treasure for carrion birds to find as they search for food. That is what they say. And our good King Creon is coming here to announce it publicly, and the penalty: stoning to death. There it is. But now, you could prove what you are, a true sister, or a traitor to your family.
You're mad, Antigone. What could I possibly do?
You must decide whether you will help me in this or not.
I don't understand. You help you in what?
Ismene, I'm going to bury him. Will you come?
Bury him? You just said that the new law forbids it.
He is my brother. He's your brother too.
Think of the danger. Think of what Creon might do.
Creon is not enough to stand in our way.
Sister. Oedipus died. Everyone hating him for what his own search brought to light. His eyes ripped out by his own hands. Antiochus died, his mother and his wife at once. She twisted the cords that strangled her life. And our 2 brothers died, each killed by the other's sword, and we are left. We are left, Antigone. But think how much more terrible than these our deaths would be if we went against Creon and did what he has forbidden. We're only women. We can't fight with men, Antigone. The law is strong and we must abide by the law, in this thing and in worse. Oh, I pray the dead to forgive me, but I must yield to those in authority. And I think it's dangerous business to always be meddling.
If that's what you think, I should not want you. Even if you asked to come. You've made your choice. You can be what you want to be. But as for me, I will bury the brother I love, and I will be as dear to him in death as he was to me. It is the dead, not the living, who make the longest demands. We die forever. You can do as you wish, since apparently the laws of God mean nothing to you.
They mean a great deal to me. But I have no strength to go against laws that were made for the public good.
An excuse, I suppose. But as for me, I will bury your brother.
So afraid for you, Antigone.
You need not be. You have yourself to consider after all.
But no one must hear this. You must tell no one. I'll keep it a secret, I promise.
No. Tell it. Tell everyone. Think how they will hate you when they find out that you knew about this the whole time.
So fiery, you should be cold with fear.
Perhaps. But I'm only doing what I must, what we must.
But can you do it? I say you cannot.
Very well. When my strength gives out, I shall do no more.
Possible things shouldn't be tried at all, Antigone.
Go away, Ismene. I shall be hating you soon. And the dead will too, for your words are hateful. Go then, leave me my foolish plan. I'm not afraid of the danger. If I'm to die, would not be the worst of deaths. Death without honour.
Go then if you feel you must. You're so unwise. But you're a good friend to those who love you.
Now the long blade of the sun, lying level east to west, touches with glory Thebes of 7 gates, open, unwedded, eye of golden day, O marching light, across the eddy and rush of Darcy stream, striking the white shields of the enemy, flowing headlong backwards from the blaze of morning.
Polynices, their commander, roused them with windy phrases.
He, the wild eagle, screaming insults above our land.
But before
His winter shield of snow, the crest on marshalled helms.
Against the 7 gates in yawning ring,
Their famished spears came onward in the night.
before his jaws were sated with our blood.
O'er pine fire to the garland of our towers.
He was thrown headlong back, and as he turned, great Thebes
was tempted by the sunlight
And the dusty joy of battle.
But God hates utterly the blade of bragging tongues. When they beheld their smiling,
Their swagger of golden helms,
their frantic with thunder blasted.
the first man from our walls.
We heard him shout triumph high in the air.
He turned to a scream far out in a flaming fire.
And fell with his windy torch, and the earth struck him. Others marched in fury no less than his.
But in the beautiful morning of victory,
7 captains at 7 gates.
Yielded their clanging arm to the god.
that bends the battle line and breaks it.
these 2 only, brothers in blood,
Face to face in matchless rage.
mirroring each other's death,
Clashed
in long combat. But in the beautiful morning of victory,
Let thieves of many chariots sing for joy.
With hearts for dancing, we'll take leave of war,
Our temple shall be sweet with hymns of praise.
and the long night shall
echo with our chorus.
Oh, Antigone, how I've longed to see you!
Find me! I fought you with the guards!
If the guards were to lay a finger on you, Antigone, I'd have their heads, for you are mine, and mine alone.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. I'm free as a bird. You've heard, haven't you? You know the news.
Yes. Why do you think I have come? Yes.
No, Haemon, absolutely not. I cannot have you help me in this. This is something I must do alone.
This is something you must do, but why must you do it alone?
Punishment would be far worse if you were found helping me.
Being without you, Antigone, is a punishment that I would not long to bear. I would die for you.
Very well. Come if you want, but I will not have you help. Come, quickly, we're losing light.
But
Now, at last, our new king is coming, Creon of Thebes, Menecus' son. In this auspicious dawn of his reign, what are the new complexities that shifting fate has woven for him? What is his counsel? Why has he summoned the old men to hear him?
Gentlemen, I have the honor to inform you that our ship of state, which recent waters have threatened to destroy, has arrived safely at harbour at last, guided by the merciful wisdom of heaven. I have summoned you here this morning because I know I can depend upon you. Your devotion to King Laius was absolute. You never hesitated in your duty to our late ruler Oedipus. And when Oedipus died, your loyalty transferred to his children. Unfortunately, as you know, his two sons, Eteocles and Polynices, have killed each other in battle, and I, as the next in blood, have succeeded to the full power of the throne. I am aware, of course, that no ruler can expect complete loyalty from his subjects until he has been tested in office. Nonetheless, I say to you from the very outset that I have nothing but contempt for the kind of governor who's afraid, for whatever reason, to follow the course of action that he knows is best for the state. And as for the man who sets private friendship above the public welfare, I have no time for him either. I call God to witness, if I saw my country headed for ruin, I would not be afraid to speak out plainly. And I need hardly remind you that I'll have no dealings with an enemy of the state. No one values friendship more highly than I, but we must remember that friends made at risk of wrecking our ship are not real friends at all. These are my principles at any rate. And that is why I have made the following decision on the sons of Oedipus. Eteocles, who died as a man should, fighting for his country, shall be buried with full military honours and all the ceremony that is usual when the greatest heroes die. But his brother, Polynices, who broke his exile to come back with fire and sword against his native city and the shrines of his father's gods, whose one idea was to spill blood of his blood and sell his own people into slavery, Polynices, I say, gets no burial. No man is to touch him or say the least prayer for him. He is to lie on the plain unburied, and the birds and the scavenging dogs can do with him whatever they like. These are my principles at any rate, and you can see the wisdom behind them. Whilst I am king, no traitor is going to be honoured with the loyal man. But the man who shows by word and deed that he is on the side of the state, he shall have my respect whilst he is living, and my reverence when he is dead.
If that is your will, Creon, Menecus' son, you have every right to enforce it. We are yours.
We are yours.
That is my will. Take care that you do your part.
But we are too old. Let the younger ones carry it out.
I do not mean that. The sentries have been appointed.
Then what is it that you would have us do?
You will show no support to whoever breaks the law.
Only a crazy man is in love with death.
And death it is. But money talks, and the wisest have sometimes been known to count a few coins too many.
I'll say that I'm out of breath and running. King, because every time I step back thinking about what I'm going to say, I go back. And all the time a voice keeps saying, "You fool, don't you know you want yourself straight into trouble?" And another voice, "Yes, but he went starting to know the Creon fuss, it waiting worse than it for you." But good sense won out. I mean, I hope it was good sense. But here I am with a story that makes no sense at all, but I'll tell it anyhow. Because as they say, what's gonna happens, and...
Come to the point, what have you to say?
I did not do it. I did not see who did it. You must not punish me with something that is done.
A comprehensive defence. More effective, perhaps, if I knew its purpose. Come, what is it?
A dreadful thing. I don't know how to put
Out
it.
with it.
Well then, the dead man, poor Nisus, out there, somewhere. Oh, new dust is slimy fresh. Some has given that ball away and gone and
The man who dared do this.
I swear I do not know. You must believe me. Listen, the ground was dry. No sign of digging. No real track in the dust. No trace of anyone. It was renovated this morning. The corporal pointed to it. The strangers, there it was. Look, the boy just mounted over there with the white dust, you see. Not buried really, just as they covered it. Just enough for a ghost piece. There's no sign of any dog or wild animal had been there. And there, what I seen there was every man of us accused one the other. We all proved that we could not have done it. We all had proof that our man could have done it. We were ready to walk through fire, swear by all the gods. It was not I don't know who it was, but it was not I. And somebody said a thing that sounds old, looking down at the ground. You had to be told the news and someone had to do it. We threw the dice and the bad luck fell to me. So here I am, no happier to have me. Nobody likes the man who brings bad news.
If this is so, King, do you think the gods could have done this?
Stop! Must you, doddering wrecks, got of your minds entirely? The gods. Intolerable. The gods favor this corpse. Why? How had he served them? Tried to loot their temples, burn their images, yes, and the whole state and this law's wizard. Is it your senile opinion that the gods love to honor bad men? A pious thought! No. From the very beginning, there have been those that have whispered against me. Stiff-necked anarchists, putting their heads together, scheming in alleys. These are the men. And they have bribed my own guard to do this thing. Find that man. Bring him here to me. Or your death will be the least of your worries. I'll string you up alive, and you will find that there are ways to make you discover your employer before you die. And the process will teach you a lesson you seem to have missed. The dearest profits are sometimes all too dear. That depends on the source. Do you understand me? Fortune won is often misfortune.
King, may I speak?
Your very voice distresses me.
Are you sure that it is my voice and not your conscience?
By God, he wants to analyze me now.
It is not what I say, it's what has been done that hurts you.
Sold your soul for some silver, that's all you've done.
How dreadful it is when the right judge judges wrong.
The plain words may entertain you now, but unless you find me that man, you get very little profit from them in the end.
Bring me the man. Have I nothing to bring him the man? But bring him or not. You have seen the last of me here. At any rate, I am safe.
Numberless are the world's wonders,
but none more wonderful than man.
The storm grey sea yields to his prows.
The birds drumming death upon the wind-whipped sand. The light-boned birds and beasts that cling to cover.
The light fish lighting the reaches of dim water.
All are taken, tamed
in the net of his mind.
The lion on the hill,
the wild horse windy maned,
remained to itself.
His blunt yoke broken,
the sultry shoulders of the mountain bull.
Word also and thought as rapid as air.
He fashions to good use, statecraft is his. Surely this captive woman is Princess Antigone.
Why should she be taken?
Here is the woman. We caught her in the vessel burying them. Where is Creon?
Just coming from the house.
What has happened? Why have you come back so soon?
O King, a man with a soul not seeing me here again. Your anger frightened me so and the things you threatened me with. But how can I tell then I was able to solve the case so soon? No dice throwing this time, I was only too glad to come. Here is the woman. We caught her in the very act of burying them. Take her, then question her, then judge you as you will. I am through with the whole thing and glad of it.
This is Antigone. Why have you brought her here?
She was burying him, I tell you.
Is this the truth?
I saw her with my own eyes. Can I say more?
Come. The details, tell me quickly.
It was like this. After all those terrible threats to King, we went back and brushed the dust away from the body. The flesh was softened now and stinking. So we sat in the hill windward and kept guard. No nothing happened until the white warm sun circled over us. And suddenly, a storm of dust rolled up from the air, and the sky went out and the plain vanished with all its trees in the stinging dark. We closed our eyes and endured it. The woman lasted a long time, but it passed. And then we whooped. And there was Antigone. I have seen a mother bird crying a bit of a broken note or two, just so when this girl found a bare body and all was what wasted. She wept and cried on heaven that it's done this damn thing. And she brought more dust. I just speckled it 3 more times for a was ghost. She was not afraid. Not even when we told her what she has done. She denied nothing. And this was comfort to me. And some easiness. For it is a good thing to escape from death. But it is no great pleasure to bring death to a friend. Yet, I always say, there's nothing so comfortable than your safe on skin!
And you, Antigone. You with your head hanging. Do you confess this thing?
I do. I deny nothing.
You may go. Tell me briefly. Had you heard my proclamation touching the matter?
It was public. Could I help hearing it?
And yet you dared to break the law.
I dared. It was not God's proclamation. That final justice that rules the world down below holds no such laws. Your edict, King, was strong. But all of your strength is weakness itself against the immortal, unrecorded laws of God. They're not merely now. They are and shall be operative forever beyond man utterly. And I knew I must die, even without your decree. And if I must die now, before it is my time to die, surely this is of no hardship to me. Can anyone, living as I live with evil all about me, think death less than a friend? This death of mine is of no importance, but if I had left my brother lying in death unburied, I should have suffered. And now I do not. You smile at me. Creon, think me a fool if you like, but it may well be that a fool convicts me of folly!
Like father, like daughter.
Both headstrong, deaf to reason.
She has never learned to yield.
Ooh. She has much to learn. The inflexible heart breaks first. The toughest iron cracks first. And the wildest horses bend their neck to the pull of the smallest curve. Pride in a slave. This girl is guilty of a double insolence, breaking the given laws and then boasting about it. Who is the man here? She or I, if I let this crime go unpunished? Sister's child, or more than sister's child, or closer yet in blood. She and her sister win bitter death for this. Go, some of you, arrest this meanie. I accuse her equally of this. You'll find her sniffling in the house there. Her mind's a traitor. Crimes kept in the dark cry for the light, and the guardian brain shudders. But so much worse than this is brazen boasting of bare-faced anarchy.
Creon, what more could you possibly want than my death?
Nothing. That gives me everything.
Then I beg you, kill me! This talking is a great weariness to me. Your words are distasteful to me. And I'm sure mine seem so to you. And yet they should not seem so. I should have praise and honour for what I have done. All these men here would agree with me with their tongues not frozen shut in fear of you.
You are the only one with that opinion.
No. They are with me, but their tongues are in leash.
Maybe. But you are guilty and they are not.
There is no guilt in reverence for the dead.
But Eteocles, was he not your brother too?
My brother too.
And you insult his memory.
The dead man would not say that I insult it.
He would. For you honour a traitor just as much as him.
His own brother. A traitor or not, and equal in
He
blood.
brought war on this country. Eteocles defended it.
Even still, there are honours due all of the dead.
Never the same for the wicked as for the just.
Creon. Which of us can say what the gods hold wicked?
An enemy is an enemy, even dead.
It is my nature to join in love, not hate.
Go join them. Then, if you must have your love, find it in hell.
But see,
Those tears are sisterly.
the cloud that shadows her eyes rains down gentle sorrow.
You too. It's Mini. Snake in my house, sucking my blood stealthily. And all this time I never knew these two sisters were aiming at my throne. Tell me, do you confess your share in this crime or do you deny it? Answer me.
Yes. If she would let me say so, I am guilty too.
No, I will not allow you to. You would not help me, and I will not have you help me now.
But now I know what you mean. And I'm here to join you.
The dead man and those who rule the dead know whose actions these were. Words are not friends.
Do you deny me, Antigone? I want to die with you.
You will not lessen my death by sharing it.
But what do I give life when you are dead?
Ask Creon. You're always hanging on his opinions.
laughing at me, Antigonne? Why?
This is a joyless laughter, Ismene.
Oh, but can I do nothing?
Yes. Save yourself. There are those that will praise you. I shall have honour too.
But we're equally guilty.
No more, Ismene. No more. You are alive. You are alive. But I belong to death.
Gentlemen, I beg you to observe these two girls. One has now just lost her mind. The other, it seems, never had a mind at all.
Grief teaches the steadiest minds to waver, King.
Yours certainly did. You chose to gild with the guilty.
But how can I live without her?
You are. She is already dead.
But your own son's bride.
There are places enough for him to push his plough. I will have no wicked women for my sons.
Dear shame on how your father has wronged you.
I grow tired of your childish talks of marriage.
Creon, do you really intend to steal this girl from your son?
No. Des will do that for me.
She must die.
You dazzle me. But enough of this talk. You there! Take them away and guard them well. For they are but women, and even brave men run when they see death coming.
Fortunate is a man who has never tasted God's vengeance, but once the anchor is struck,
that house is shaken
forever.
Damnation rises behind each child.
Like a wave cresting out of the black northeast.
When the one darkness under the sea roars up,
And
bursts drumming death upon the wind-whipped sand.
I have seen this gathering sorrow from time long past, loom upon Oedipus's children.
Generation from generation.
So lately this last flower of Oedipus's wine,
Drank the sunlight!
But now a passionate word
and the handful of dust has closed up all its beauty.
What mortal arrogance transcends the wrath of Zeus?
Sleep cannot lull him, nor the effortless long months of timeless gods.
But he is young forever, and his house is the shining day of high Olympus.
All that is,
and shall be,
and all the past,
is his.
No pride on earth is free of the curse of heaven.
Man's strange dreams may bring them ghosts of joy, but as the waking embers burn them,
or they walk with fixed eyes,
as blind men walk.
The ancient wisdom is for our own time.
Fate works most for woe, with folly's fairest show.
But man's little pleasure is the root of all sorrow.
Is it grief for Antigone that brings him here, or the bitterness of being robbed of his bride?
Mother! This cannot stand! You must change his mind! For me, Mother, I beg you!
I have to stop this.
Yeah.
I may be a queen, but I am a wife first. The duties of a wife are sacred. Come on.
You have a duty to this kingdom, and me, your son. Your only son.
You wish to discuss duties. You think you can imagine this loss?
Imagine it. I'm living it. First my brother, and now you're intending to steal my future fiancée, your future queen.
You've always been so stubborn. Ever since you were a little boy, playing with your brother. You stole your sword once. I remember your wailing cries. You found another. Just as happy.
Why must you bring this up, Mother? I can't just be with another. Antigone is the one. And she will sit on the throne with me.
Son, you have heard my final judgment on that girl. Have you come here hating me? Or do you come with love and deference for whatever I do?
I am your son, Father. You are my guide. You make things clear for me, and I obey you. No marriage is more important to me than your continuing wisdom.
Good. That is the way to be. Subordinate. Everything else, my son, to your father's will. This is what a man prays for. That he may get sons attentive and dutiful in his house, hating his father's enemies, honouring his father's friends. But if his sons fail him, if they turn out unprofitably, what has he fathered but trouble for himself and amusement for the malicious? So you're right not to lose your head over that woman. Your pleasure with her would soon grow cold. Amen. And then you'd have a wildcat in bed and elsewhere. Let her find a husband in hell. Of all the people in this city, only she has had contempt for my law and broken it. Do you expect me to show myself weak before the people? Or to break my sworn word? No. And I will not. The woman dies. I suppose she'll plead family ties. Well, let her. If I permit my own family to rebel, how shall I earn the world's obedience? I'll have no dealings with lawbreakers, critics of the government. Whoever is chosen to rule should be obeyed, and must be obeyed, and not things great and small, just and unjust. Oh, Haman. The man who knows how to follow orders, and that man only, knows how to give commands when the time comes. You can depend on him, no matter how fast the spears come. He'll stick them out. He's a good soldier. Anarchy. Anarchy. Show me a greater evil. This is why cities tumble and the great names rain down. This is what scatters armies. No. Good lives are made so by discipline. We keep the laws then, and the lawmakers, and no woman shall seduce us. If we must lose, let's lose to a man at least. Is a woman stronger than we?
Father, reason is God's crowning gift to man, and you are right. You are right to warn me against losing mine. I cannot say. I hope I should never want to say that you have reasoned badly, but there are other men who can reason too, and their opinions might be helpful. You are not in a position to know everything that people say or do or what they feel. Your temper terrifies them. Everyone will tell you only what you like to hear. But I, at any rate, can listen, and I've heard them muttering and whispering in the dark about this girl. They say, never has a woman so unreasonably died so shameful a death for a generous act. She covered her dead brother's body. Is this a crime? She kept him from the dogs and the vultures. Is this indecent? Death! We should give her all the honours that we can give her. This is the way they talk about her in the city. Oh, you must believe me. Nothing is closer to me than your happiness. What could be closer? Must not any son value his father's fortune as his father values his? I beg you, do not be unchangeable. Do not believe that you alone can be right. The man who thinks that The man who maintains that he alone has the power to reason correctly, the gift to speak to soul. A man like that, when you know him, turns out empty. It's not reason never to yield to reason! In flood time. In flood time, you can see how some trees bend. And because they bend, even their twigs are safe. While stubborn trees are torn up, roots and all. The same thing happens in sailing. Make your sheets fast, never slacken, and over you go. Head over heels and under, and there's your voyage. Forget you were angry. Let yourself be moved. I know I am young. But let me say this. The ideal condition would be, yes, I admit that men should be right by instinct, but since we are too likely to be led astray, the reasonable thing would be to listen to those who could teach.
You would do well to listen to him, King.
If what he says is sensible, and you, Haman, must listen to your father,
Both speak well.
You think it right for a man of my years and experience to go to school to a boy?
It is not right if I am wrong, but if I am young and right, what does my age matter?
You think it right to stand up for an anarchist?
No, not at all. I pay no respect to criminals.
And then she is not a criminal.
But the city proposes to teach me how to rule.
And the city proposes to teach me how to rule.
Okay. Who's acting like a boy now?
My voice is the one voice giving orders in this city.
It is not a city if it takes orders from one voice.
The state is the king.
Yes, if the state is a desert!
This boy, it seems, has sold out to a woman.
If you are a woman, my concern is only for you.
So, your concern in a public brawl with your father.
How about you in a public brawl with justice?
With justice, when not all that I do is within my rights.
You have no right to trample on God's right.
Fool! Adolescent fool! Taken in by a woman.
You will never see me taken in by anything vile.
You'll never marry her while she lives.
Then she must die. But her death will cause another.
Another. Have you lost your senses? Is this an open threat?
There is no threat in speaking to emptiness.
I swear you'll come to regret the superior tone of yours. You are the empty one.
If you were not my father, I'd say you were perverse.
Don't play at words with me, you girl-struck fool.
Oh, I'm sorry, you prefer silence.
I swear by all the gods in heaven above us. You'll watch it. I swear you will. Bring her out. Bring the woman out. Let him watch her die. Here, this instant, there's a bridegroom beside her.
Not here! No! She will not die here, King! And you will never see my face again! Go on raving! As long as you have a friend to enjoy you!
Gone.
Creon, a young man in rage is dangerous.
Let him do, or dream to do what a man can! He will not save those girls from death.
Those girls. You sentenced them both.
No. You are right. I will not sentence the one whose hands are clean.
Antigonne, Creon.
I will carry her far away out there in the wilderness and seal her in a vault of stone. She shall have food, as the custom is, to absolve the state of her death. And there, let her pray to the gods of hell. They are her only gods now. Perhaps they will show her a way to escape death. Or maybe she'll learn, not late, that piety shown the dead is pity in vain.
Love, unconquerable.
Waster of rich men,
Keeper of warm light.
in a soft face of a girl,
Sea wanderer, forest visitor.
Even pure immortals cannot escape you.
even a mortal man in one day's dusk.
Trembles before your glory.
I can no longer bear what I see or hold back tears, for here is Princess Antigone, who passes to the chamber where we all find sleep at last.
Look upon me, friends, and pity me. Turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer. Now sleepy death summons me down to Acheron, that sleepy shore. There's no bride song there, nor any music.
Yet not without praise or any kind of honour, you find your way at last to the underworld. Untouched by sickness, unbroken by any sword, has any woman ever found their way to death?
How often I have heard the story of Niobe, Tantalus's wretched daughter, and how the stone clung fast about her ivy close. And they say the rain falls endlessly, rifting soft snow. And I feel the loneliness of her death in mine.
She was born of heaven, and you are woman born. If this death is for you, glory be to the world and the world beyond.
And you laugh at me. Friends, can you not wait until I am dead? Thebes, in love with fortune. Sweet spring of church, sacred Theban grove, be witnesses to me. Denied all pity, unjustly judged, and think a word of love for her whose path turns dark under cold air, for there are no more tears.
You have come, Cuba daring, and have come at last.
To a place where justice sits.
I cannot see where this resembles your father's guilt.
And you have touched it, at last. That bridal bed. Unspeakable. Horror of mother and son mingling. Oedipus, a father and brother. Your marriage strikes from the grave to murder mine. I have been a stranger here in my own land. All of my life the blasphemy of my birth has followed me.
Reverence is a virtue, but strength must prevail in established law. You are own doing of your own conscious hand.
Let me go then, since your words are bitter to me, and the very light of the sun is cold to me. Lead me to my vigil, where I'm to have no love, nor lamentation, no song, but silence.
If dirges and lamentations could put up death, men would be singing forever. Take her. Go. You know your orders. Take her to the vault and leave her there alone. Whether she lives or dies is her affair, not ours. Our hands are clean.
Oh, Tim, vaulted bride bed in eternal rock. Soon I shall be with my own again, where Persephone welcomes the thin ghost underground. And I shall see my father again. And you, mother, and dearest Polynices, yes, dearest indeed, since it was my hand that washed them clean, and I poured the ritual wine, and my reward is a death before my time! And yet, as men's hearts know, I have done no wrong, I have not sinned before God, or if I have, I shall know the truth in death. But if the guilt should lie with Creon, who judged me, then I pray that your punishment equals my own.
The guards will have good cause to regret their delaying.
Creon, all this death is yours.
I can give you no reason to think otherwise.
Thebes. And you, my father's gods, and rulers of Thebes, you see me now, the last unhappy daughter of a great line of kings, your kings led away to death. You will remember what things I suffer and at whose hands, because I would not transgress the laws of heaven. Come. Let us wait no longer.
All Danae's beauty was locked up in a brazen cell, where the sunlight could not come.
A small room.
Still as any grave.
Enclosed her.
Yet she was a princess too.
And sees the rain God love upon her, O child, O child.
No power in wealth or war can prevail against untiring destiny.
And Dryas' son, that furious king,
Bore the god's prisoner anger for his pride.
His madness died among echoes.
Sealed by Dionysus in death's stone.
So at last he reigned with dreadful power his tongue had mocked.
And he profaned against the rebels.
And fired the 9 implacable sisters
that
Loved the sound of the flute. And an old man tell a half-remembered tale, where horror done, where the dark ledge splits the sea,
and double surf beats on grey shores.
a king's new woman,
Sick with the queen he had at present.
ripped of her own 2 sons' eyes with their bleeding hands, was merciless Aphrodite.
4 times.
4 blind wounds.
Crying for revenge. Crying tears, blood mingled. Woman of heavenly birth.
Her father was a god of the north wind. She was cradled by gales.
She raced through the glittering hills with young colts and walked untrammeled through the light.
But
In
in
her
her
marriage, death is fate, found means to build a tomb like yours for our joy.
This is the way the blind man comes. Princes, princesses, lock step. 2 heads lit by the eyes of
What new things have you to tell us, old Tiresias?
I have much to tell you, Creon. Only listen to the prophet.
I admit my debt to you. But what have you to say?
Listen, Creon. I was sitting in my chair of augury at the place where the birds gather about me. They were all a chatter, as is their habit, when suddenly I heard a strange jangling in their note. A scream, a whirring fury. They were fighting, tearing each other, dying in a whirlwind of wings, clashing, and I was afraid. I began the rites of burnt offering at the altar, but Hephaestus failed me. Instead of a bright flame, there was only the sputtering slime of the fat thigh flesh melting, the entrails dissolved in grey smoke, and no blaze! This was a sign from heaven The boy described it for me. Seeing for me as I see for others. I tell you, Creon, you have brought this new calamity upon us. The hearths and altars are stained with the corruption of dogs and carrion birds that glut themselves on the corpse of Oedipus' son. The gods are deaf when we pray to them. Their fire recoils from our offerings. Their buds of omen have no cry of comfort, for they are gorged with the thick blood of the dead. Ah, my son, these are no trifles. Think, all men make mistakes, but a good man yields when he knows his course is wrong and repairs the evil. The only crime is pride. Given to the dead man, then, do not fight with the corpse. What good is it to kill a man who is dead? Think! I beg you! It is for your own good that I speak as I do. You should be able to yield for your own good.
It seems that prophets have made me their especial province. All my life long, I have been a sort of butt for the dull arrows of doddering fortune tellers. No, Tiresias. If your birds, if the great eagles of God himself came down and carried him stinking bit by bit, I would not yield. I am not afraid of pollution. No man can defile the gods. Do what you will. Go into business, speculate in Indian gold or that synthetic gold from Sardis. Get rich otherwise than by my consent to bury him.
Tiresias. It is a sad thing when a wise man sells his wisdom. Lets out his words for hire.
Creon, is there no man left in this world that...
To do what? Come, let's have an aphorism.
No man who knows that wisdom outweighs any wealth.
As surely as brass is baser than any baseness.
You are sick, Creon! You are deathly sick!
Oh, as you say, it is not my place to argue with a prophet.
And yet you said my prophecy is for sale.
The generations of prophets have always loved gold.
Well, the generation of kings has always loved brass!
You forget yourself!
I am your king.
Yes. I know it. You are king because of me.
You have a skill. But you have sold out.
King, you'll drive me towards...
Say them. Say them. Only remember, I will not pay you for them.
No. You'll find them too costly.
No doubt.
Speak. Whatever you say, you will not change my will.
Then listen, and listen close. The time is not far off when you shall pay back, corpse for corpse, flesh of your own flesh. You have thrust the child of this world into living night. You have kept from the gods below the child that is theirs. A girl in a grave, before her death, the other dead! Denied the grave! This is your crime, Creon, and the furies and the dark gods of hell are swift with terrible punishment for you. Do you wish to buy me now, Creon? Not many days, and your house shall be full of men and women weeping. Curses will be hurled at you from afar. Cities grieving for sons unburied, left to rot at the walls of Thebes. These are my arrows, Creon. And they're all for you. Come, child. Lead me away. Let him waste his fine anger upon younger men. Perhaps at last you will learn to control a wiser tongue and a better head.
The old man has gone, King, but his words remain to plague us. I am old too, but I cannot remember when he was ever false.
That is true. It worries me. Oh, it is hard to give in. But it is so much worse to risk everything for a stubborn pride.
Creon, take my advice.
What would you have me do?
Go quickly, free Antigone from her vault, and build a tomb for the body of Polynices.
You would have me do this?
Creon, yes.
Yes.
And go quickly. God moves swiftly to cancel the folly of stubborn men.
I will do it.
I will not fight with destiny. Bring axes and servants. Come with me to the vault. I buried her. I will set her free.
Oh, quickly!
My misgives. The laws of the gods are mighty, and it is a duty of man to follow them to his last day.
God of many names, O Aeacus, son of Cadmean Semele,
Guardian of the West, Regent of
Eleusis'
Eleusis'
plain.
plain,
O Prince of
The
Maenad Thebes, and the dragon fear of Ellipowin Ismenius.
God of many names,
the flame of torches flares on our hills.
the
Nymphs of Aeacus dance at the spring of Castalia from the vine-closed mountain.
Come in, Ivy, evil he, sing through the streets of Thebes, God of many names.
Aeacus of Thebes, heavenly child of Semele, bride of the Thunderer.
The shadow of plague is upon us.
Come
with clement feet.
O come from Paranos, down the long slopes across the lamenting water.
Io, fire,
courser of the throbbing stars, O purest among the voices of the night, thou Son of God, blaze for us.
Come with choric rapture, circling with Maenad, who cry, Io, Ioke,
God of many names!
Men of the line of Cadmus, those who live near Amphion Citadel, I cannot speak in the condition of human life. This is clearly good, this is clearly bad. Fate casts down the happy and unhappy alike. Take the case of Creon. He was happy once, as I can recount happiness. That's all gone from him now. He was the father of children nobly born, sole governor of his land. He is granted rich in that great house of his, but he is but a shadow for all he owns.
Your words hint at sorrow. Come, what's your news for us?
They are dead. The living are the guilty of their deaths.
Who is guilty? Who is dead? Speak!
Haman is dead. And the hand that killed him is his own.
Tiresias, how clearly you saw it all.
This is my news. You must draw what conclusions from it you can.
But look, Eurydice, our queen, has she overheard us?
I've heard some from friends. As I was unlocking the gate of the palace shrine for I needed her help today, I heard a voice telling of some new sorrow. I fainted there at the temple with all my maidens about me. To speak again, whatever as I can bear it. Grief and I am strangers.
My dearest lady, I will not try to comfort you because comfort can only lie in what is not true. And the truth is always best. I went with Creon to the place where Polynices was lying. His body shredded by dogs, no friend to pity him. We bathed the body in holy water. We gathered fresh broken twigs and buried the body. We heaped together his own land upon an urn. And then we headed to the cavern of stone where Antigone lay, and one of the servants went ahead, and he came back and reported a startling sight. Creon told us all to make haste. He said, weeping, "Is this some cruel deception of the gods? Must I walk this treacherous road, the one I am all too familiar with?" It was then the air filled with wailing. We approached the cavern. Creon begged us, "Tell me, is that my son? Is that my son's voice that calls me on? Speak." We obeyed, and in the farthest corner, we saw Antigone. She had made a noose for fine linen veil and hanged herself. Haman, his hands around her waist, lamenting her. Creon stepped forward, calling out to his son, "My son, what do you think that makes your eyes so stranger?" But Haman said nothing to him, but spat in his face. He pulled out his blade. Creon shrank back, but by the time we all knew what was happening, Haman plunged the sword half its length into his side. He choked, and his blood, bright red, it fell upon Antigone's white cheek. He let out a curse for his father, the murderer of his bride. He now lies dead with the dead, married only in death.
She has left us without a word. What can this mean?
I do not know. No doubt she is leading her maidens in his marriage.
But this deep silence is what I fear.
It worries me also. I will go see what she's doing.
But here is the king himself. Look at him, bearing his own damnation in his arms.
Nothing you say can touch me anymore. my own blind heart has led me from darkness to final darkness. Here you see the father murdering the murdered son. And all my civic wisdom Haman, my son. So young. So young to die. I was the fool, not you.
That's the truth, Creon. You were late in learning it.
This truth is hard to bear! It seems that God has crushed me beneath the heaviest weight of heaven and driven me headlong barbaric path to crush out all that I held most dear. The pain that men will take to come to pay.
The burden you carry in your arms is great, but you will only find more pain in your house.
What burden worse than this shall I find there?
The queen is dead.
Oh, port of death. Deaf world. Is there no pity for me? And you, angel of death. I was dead, and your words are death again. Is it true, boy? Can it be true? Is my wife dead?
You can see for yourself.
Oh, pity! All true, all true. And more than I can bear. Oh, my wife. My son.
She stood before the altar. Her own hand guided the blade into her heart. And with her last cry, she cried out for Megaris's dead. Haman, dead. Her sons, dead! And with her last breaths, she let out a curse for their father, the murderer of her sons.
Oh, God. I'm sick with fear. Are there no swords here? Has no one a blow for me?
Curse her death is upon you. You will.
It is right that it should be. I alone am to blame. I know it, I say it. Lead me away. Quickly. Friends. I have neither life nor substance. Lead me away.
You are right.
If there can be
Right.
right and so much wrong, the briefest way is best in a world of
So,
Let it come. Let death come and be kind to me. I would not ever see the sun again.
All that will come when it will, but we, meanwhile, have much to do.
leave the future to itself.
I poured my whole heart into that prayer.
Then do not pray anymore. The sky is deal.
Lead me away. I have been rash and foolish. I have murdered my wife and my son. I look for comfort. Comfort lies here, dead. Everything I've put my hand to has come to nothing. Fate has made all my pride a whisper of dust.
There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission
to the gods.
Big words are always punished, and proud men in old age learn to be wise.
And that is the end of the show. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to go check on them, make sure everyone's good. But yeah, this is the finale as well, final night. Abby assisted us. And thank you. She did the music, the funky Greek music at the start. You did the funky
She did the music at the start.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You may leave.
Yeah.